Good evening, everyone. Welcome along once again. Oh, as my alarm goes off. Welcome along once again to Kerb Clippers. I'm your host, Fry. This is round number 5 of the Kerb Clippers British GT Championship at Brands Hatch. Just getting to the end of free practice now. Qualifying coming up in a minute. As we deal with mixed stormy conditions. Brought on by Storm Kiara today in the UK. Just waiting for G32 to finish his final practice lap out in these storm conditions at the moment. Now the final corner for the final time, G32. He's currently sat in, what is he at, 3rd spot at the moment, but I mean these times are kind of all over the place at the moment. That practice session was started in overcast but very quickly turned to storm conditions, so not much time for everyone to put any fast times, as you can see from the jumble of GT3s and GT4s. Straight into 15 minutes qualifying session. Forecast is overcast conditions for the whole session. Johnny B takes the LDR8 out for the first time. Johnny B, who is current GT3 Championship leader at the moment, on 62 points after Blankfell's disaster last week. Johnny B leads the way on 62 points in the Audi. Head of Blankfell is on 53 points in the BMW Z4. Who leads away from Atu, who's on 39 points in the M6. Then we got Kerb's 4th place, 35 points. Audi R8 as well. Oh, as he has a little wobble. Whitford 5th spot, 30 points in the Ferrari. Racing at home, 6th place, 29 points. And just ahead of Melted Dazza, 7th place on 28 points. Then we've got Buzzing Hornet, number 22 points, who's not here today, unfortunately. Get well soon to Buzz. And then finally of the regular GT3 runners, Matty in the Mercedes-Benz, 20 points, 9th spot. And we welcome another newcomer to the championship tonight in Honey Badger. See how he gets on in the Bentley. Nice, didn't realise he was going to drive the Bentley. It's good to see a Bentley on track. And then tonight in GT4, where's he to? Redwood, championship leader, 65 points in the Janetta GT4. G32. Oh, that's Mark Way. G32. 2nd spot, 49 points. Ahead of Sias, who's moved to be in a Janetta as well, on 3rd spot and 44 points. DB Kung, 4th place, 40 points. Mark Quay, 5th spot with 26 points. And then Angie, last week's race winner, who only has had one race so far, 100% win ratio, but currently 7th in the championship on 20 points. And those are your drivers this evening. The Kerb Clippers British GT Championship, round number 5 from Brad's Hatch GP. In changeable, stormy conditions. Coming up in 11 minutes. Six runners in GT4 and 9 runners in GT3 tonight, I believe. If my maths is correct. Blackfall sitting in the early phase in GT3, pretty damn close to Whitford though. Less than a tenth of a second separating those two drivers at the moment on a 1:23.9 and a 1:24.0. And Angie setting the early pace in GT4, 1:31.2. Good chance to see the speed differential between GT3 and GT4 there as Blankfire makes his move. Fast on the straight, no time lost for either driver. Nicely done. Oh, dips the wheel on the grass on exit, gets away with it. Stick with Blankfire here for a second, see if he can improve on what is already provisional pole. And then let's jump on board for a lap show with Blankfire, see if he treats us to another lap out here. As he does improve? No, and he doesn't treat us to a lap. He goes into the pits. Of course he does. But Blankfire's put in a 1:23.3. Just 7 tenths up on anyone else at the moment. It's looking like a decent benchmark. And Andrew's still looking good in the GT4. She heads out of the pits again. Matty in behind out here, maybe catching a little bit of slipstream. We're down in 5th and 7th at the moment, these two guys looking to improve. To complete another lap. Any improvement from Atu? Yep, up to 4th. Matty stays in 6th. Johnny B down through clearaways into the clock curve, completing another lap, currently in 3rd spot, 8 tenths off pole. Crosses the line, any improvement? Oh, he does, just into 2nd spot. 600th of a second slower than Blank. Both in the 1:23.3. That is the benchmark GT3 then. See if anyone else can get close. These are the 2 championship leaders. The 2 race winners so far, 2 wins apiece each. Currently looking out the front row once again. And he's still looking good in GT4, so he gets a little slide on. Going through Westfield and Dingled out. Sheens. Through Sterling's. Still holding pole position in GT4. And the improvement from Angie this time. Nice line through the final corner. Out onto the Barham straight. No improvement this time. Wilfred's looking pretty solid in third spot in that Ferrari at the moment in GT3. 1.3 seconds off the pace, just warming his tyres on an outlap at the moment. He's with Dazzle on track in the McLaren. He's currently holding 5th spot, P5. Just a few tenths separating him, Matty and Honey Badger in the Bentley. Bentley looking fantastic, by the way, in the dark green. And then we got racing in 8th at the moment in the Mercedes. And Kev's in the Audi, struggling at the moment, those two. A little bit off the pace, need to put a clean lap in. Sorry chat, I've been neglecting the chat. What's happening in the chat? Even everybody. Shouts for Blank in the chat. I think Blank's a good shout whenever there's rain involved, isn't it? He is the rain master. Kev bails out of that one, back to the pits. He might get one more chance. DB Kung's got pole in GT4. He's nicked in ahead of Angie. 130.7, 3 tenths ahead. Knocks Angie down to 2nd spot. Satis up to 3rd. After he's had an unfortunate garage fire at the Mustang. The Mustang's garage went up in flames, unfortunately, so Satis has had to replace it with a competitive Ginetta. Look forward to seeing how he goes tonight in that. A chance for the winner, I reckon, Satis. Always races well. So G32 makes it Ginetta 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 1 second back in 4th spot. And Redwood Championship leader finds himself down in 5th. But the Ginetta's still got a big advantage over that Porsche. I might see if we can't tempt Mark out of that Porsche as well, because he's struggled in that all season, really, to be fair. Arrange for another garage fire, perhaps. He's literally in the way of that GT4 Ginetta behind him. I should recognise immediately. Oh, Satis, he bailed out of the lap as well. So pretty tight at the top of GT4, pretty tight at the top of GT3 as well. Still less than a tenth between Johnny B and Blank. The 2nd place in the championship, Blank Far has the advantage at the moment over championship leader Johnny B. And I think these two have got to be the 2 favourites for the race at the moment, just based on how the rest of the season's gone. But pretty much everyone in the GT3 field can win. I think we had 8 different race leaders at Alton Park, round number 3. Johnny B comes around once more to complete another flying lap. And go on to what will potentially be his final chance. In fact, clock's against him. It's going to be pretty close actually. He might get 2 more laps in. Ooh, it's going to be really, really tight. A couple of guys in the pits already. No more chance to improve for them. Johnny B hangs it out around the first corner. Hard on the brakes. Round Druids, down into the Graham Hill bend. Whoa, that is drunk cameraman at his finest. Oh, he's gone back to the box. I'll let the cameraman off. Johnny B's given up. That's it for Johnny B. No improvement for Johnny B. Whitford's still third, by the way. Just ahead of Blank File on the road there. Decent qualifying for Whitford. DB Curry in the pits. He won't improve. Angie's still out on track. She's got a chance. Satty's still out on track. Whitford and Atty coming round. Blank File coming round. Oh no. Atty's done. And the improvement from Dazza, currently 1.4 seconds back. 5th place on the grid. Checker flag flies. Moves himself up ahead of Atty into 4th spot. Nice little move from Dazza at the end there. Oh, big wall from Matty. Whitford's in the pits, Blank's in the pits. Looks like Dazza's finished. Matty's had a slide on. Only Matty left to improve. GT4s are done as well. Oh, Satis is on the lap. These two are going to come round together. Final 2 drivers with a chance of improving in qualifying. As Matty dips a wheel on the grass in the background there. Satis currently in 3rd place. And then the GT4s. Rounds the final corner for the final time. Matty bails out of his lap. Any improvement from Satis? He improves, but it doesn't get him any higher up the grid. 31-1, but still 3rd spot. Alright then, quick run through the grid as we get ready for round number 5 of the Kerb Clippers British GT Championship. Row number 1 in GT3, Blank File and Johnny B. Row number 2, Whitford and Melted Dazza. Row number 3, Atty and Matty. Row number 4, Honey Badger and Racing at Home. And Kev's bringing up the rear. Row number 5, new buzz tonight. And then we got row number 1 in GT4, DB Kung takes pole ahead of Angie Eli. Satis in 3rd, G32 going off in 4th. Redwood Championship leader down in 5th. And Mark Curtis brings up the rear of the grid in 6th spot in GT4. Right, as we get ready to get racing here, we've got about a 2-minute countdown to green. Expecting changeable conditions in the race. There's a storm forecast for the middle of the race. Going off in overcast conditions. And then it should brighten up a bit towards the end as well. So we're going to see very changeable conditions. Potentially 2 pit stops. Potentially a chance to stay on slick tyres longer, or to go onto slick tyres earlier, you know. It's going to be a lot of variables. We're going to see a lot of different tactics. There was some chat about whether the hard or the soft tyre was best, even especially in GT3 for coming out of the rain. The hard tyre was a faster lap time, but the softer tyre was obviously better in the changeable conditions. So who knows what's going to happen really. We've got 2 races here to watch at the same time. The GT3s and the GT4s. And hopefully it's going to be a really good race. There's only 2 rounds left after this one, so we're at the business end of the championship now. It's going to be all about consistency, keeping your nose clean. That's the guys should be getting sorted with their pit strategies, fuel, etc. So we're ready to go. Kerb Clippers British GT Championship, round number 5 from Brands Hatch. There's green, and we're off. Big wheel spin from Johnny B. They get away quite well. Johnny B's up the inside of Blank File here, I think, though. He's going to lead through the first corner. Mid-pack through okay. GT4's through good. Great stuff from everyone. Johnny B leads from Blank File. Blank File runs wide on exit. Whitford hanging on to 3rd. Dazzler's up to 4th. Well, hanging on to 4th, I should say, sorry. Matty's 5th. He's down to 6th. Kev's under pressure from Honey Badger. That Bentley looks fantastic. I'm going to say it again. Good stuff. They go side by side down the straight. It's like Kev's got the inside. Good driving there. Great driving from everyone. Racing through in 9th. Angie leads the way in GT4. She's taking DB Kung off the line there. DB Kung still in 2nd spot. Followed by Satis. G32. Redwood. Marking the Porsche. Back to the front of GT3. So they come streaming through. Oh, we've got a Dazzler off in the background. Dazzler whacks the Armco. Gets back on safely. Oh, it's unfortunate for Dazzler. Early damage. Will he dive for the pits? Might get away with that one. It might be worth driving it for a little while to find out. Oh, Dazzler stays out. Who's that though? That Matty. Matty's off. Can't get him. There he is. Matty Cake's lost it. In the Mercedes. So drama lap 1 for Dazzler. Drama lap 1 even more so for Matty. And there's a little 3-car breakaway at the front. Johnny B, Blank File and Whitford. Audi, BMW and Ferrari. So in all that first lap drama, it looks like these 3 have got a little gap from what's who's back up because of the mistakes ahead of him. Up to 4th with Kerbs and Melted Dazzler. We've got 2 groups of 3 away at the front. Keep up with the leaders for a bit. Quickly check in on GT4. GT4's got some stray GT3 traffic to worry about. Angie's leading the way still though. Johnny B kicks the back end out on that Audi. Oh, Blankfell gets a kick of over still on exit. Here comes Whitford up the inside. You can have the line for the corner possibly, thinks better of it. That's given Johnny B a little gap at the front. He opens up a 2nd as they cross the line onto lap number 3. Or is that Dazzler off again in the background? Nope, it's just lagging. These 3 look okay as well. Nice little battle brewing here as well. Out from Kerbs and Dazzler. And we got racing. Ahead of the recovering Matty. And Honey Badger's had a problem as well, because Honey Badger's dropped out. We've missed that. But Honey Badger's down to 13th spot. Gap opening up at the front here, Johnny B from Blank File and then Whitford. About 7/10 each gap. Kerbs and Dazzler having a decent little battle here. Dazzler's connection's not the best at the moment. Hopefully it's not affecting the drivers too much. He's a little bit jerky, that's for sure. That's the gap for the lead in GT4. Andy's still leading the way from DBK. We're recovering Honey Badger in the background in the big GT3 Bentley. He makes his way around the outside. And then Satis currently holding that first spot in GT4. Blank falls past Johnny. Johnny's made a mistake. I think we just caught the end of it there. Blank leads the way. Whoa, that he gets a little bit ragged on the grass. Gathers it all up nicely though. Some great driving going on at the front already. Just 5 minutes gone. And Johnny B finds himself under big pressure from Whitford's Ferrari yet. As we complete lap number 4, Whitford ducks in, back into the slipstream. It's a little bit wide on entry then, both for them. They get away with it though. Blackfire just taking the opportunity of these two battling just to slightly stretch that lead at the front, up to 1.7 seconds now. Yeah, Johnny B lost 2 seconds on the last lap. Still got Attia in 4th, Dazzler in 5th spot in the McLaren, Matty in 6th in the Mercedes now, Kerb's down to 7th I think, just ahead of Racing in 8th. And then Honey Badger recovering as well in 9th. But we do have all the GT3 runners back ahead of the GT4s. Plenty of time for them to recover. Plenty of pit stops and weather changes coming up. Back to the front. Great battle for second at the moment. Oh, and that's, I can see out his headlights getting slightly larger in the background. It was about the same speed as Blank last lap. Faster than both these two guys. Not that far away actually. At the moment in 4th. And Johnny B runs wide, he's going to dip a wheel in the gravel there, it's going to open the door for Whitford, up the inside. Nicely done in the Ferrari. Makes it stick. Whitford up to P2, Johnny down to P3. Yeah, down Pilgrim's drop once more. So Hawthorne's the battle for second place. Kerb Clippers British GT Championship round number 5 here at Brands Hatch. Lead for GT4 battle. Angie versus DBK. Nose to tail. And there's Satis Downs in 3rd spot. Now upgraded to his yellow Janetta and looking hungry for a race win. Great little battle in GT4 going on. Johnny and Whitford side by side for P2 as well in GT3. Oh, Johnny runs it a little bit deep. I don't think he meant to do that, but he didn't really give Whitford a lot more room to work with. Still a legit move though. Johnny recovers to 2nd spot. But once again, this is open the door for Blank File, who now enjoys a 3.3 second lead on lap number 7. The battle for GT4 continues as they cross the line. Andy's showing his impressive speed once again in the GT4 category. DB Kung having a much better race than last week. Up to 10 minutes, looking good as well in the hunt. It's a long race though. Great battle for the lead there in category. Trying to keep an eye on that and the battle for second in GT3. They're the two best battles on track at the moment, I think. He's flashing his lights, he's letting them know he's coming. It's going to be a three-way battle soon. Back to the GT4 lead battle. Both did exactly the same 1:32.6 laps last time. Glued together these two. Well, Satis just makes a tiny little mistake in the background there. Saw a little wheel maybe up on the curve. Actually, maybe not. He's pretty close to their lap times at the moment. Just hovering in their tail end of their slipstream. This is what's fast becoming the battle for second in GT3 with 3 drivers involved. Comes banger barreling towards Dingledale. FRY-DIZ comes across the first bit of GT4 traffic, makes his way past Mark in the Porsche. It's a lap on him. After only 11 minutes of racing, it's going to start getting busy for these guys now. Oh, DB Kung's got the lead. DB Kung's in the lead in GT4. We've missed that, sorry guys, but DB Kung's taken Angie there. For now at least, up into first spot. Angie lives to fight another day, and behind him though, drops straight back into the slipstream. So it looks like a battle that could run and run. Excellent stuff from these two drivers as DB Kung makes a dips a wheel on the grass. Nice battle for fourth as well between G32 and Redwood actually, just not too far back either. All the GT4 people pretty damn close in lap time at the moment. 1:32.9, 1:32.0, 1:32.7, 1:33.6, 1:33.8. DB Kung continues to lead the way in GT4. Angie runs a little bit wide. No harm done. GT3 leader, blank file. Number 35 BMW. Currently 4 seconds up. As Kerb retires from the session. Missed what's happened to Kerb there, but he'll be classified in 9th place in GT3. Let's go. That's the gap. So there's Johnny B in second spot. Currently 4.2 seconds back. With Whitford for company. About a second behind him. And that he was threatening to catch these guys. Just seems to have he's dropped it a little bit last lap. He's lost 7 tenths and 9 tenths to the 2 cars ahead of him. A lot of hard work set back there. Right, still in 4th spot. Dazza in 5th. Ahead of Matty, who finds makes his way past Mark as well, now in 6th place. And then our last 2 runners in GT3 now racing at home. And Honey Badger, they're pretty close on track though, 7th and 8th. Racing's struggling tonight. I wonder if he's missed racing getting some damage, or if he's just set the car up super for the wet conditions. We are expecting the weather to change fairly imminently as well, so this order that we're seeing at the moment could all be very jumbled by the end. But at the moment these two have some work to do. They've lost about 30 seconds or so for different mistakes. We saw Matty go in the wall. And Dazza go in the wall as well actually, so those two have got a tiny bit of damage at least. Jump on board with Whitford, looking at the tail end of Johnny B in second spot. These two have swapped position a couple of times already. Gap in GT4 is just getting slightly larger, only about a second or so. Check in, but there we go. So that's Angie's view of DB Kung for the battle for the lead in GT4. DB Kung just easing ahead at the moment. As these guys get into the real heaven thick GT4 traffic. 5 guys in pretty close proximity here. Remember, this is GT endurance racing, it's not on the GT4 or any blue flag cars to jump out of the way. They're driving their own race. The GT3s pick their way through. Decent bumper cam there actually, as Johnny and Whitford go to work on these GT4 cars. G32 they're passing now. He's currently running in 4th spot in class. Powers the Ferrari past him. As Johnny B kicks up dust on the inside. And gets a little handful of curb on exit. Might have unsettled the car a little bit there. He catches a GT4. He's pretty polite actually, if anything a bit too polite there from Satis. A bit too hard on the brakes through the apex there. I think he got a little bit scared by the Audi then. It always cost Johnny B so much time that it ended up backing Whitford up as well then. All of this plays, of course, is the hands of Blank File. He's actually diving into the pits. Right, the weather's changing, it's coming down fast. We'll jump back to trackside here. Everyone's diving in the pits. So the storm is coming in, Blank File's in, Johnny B's in, Whitford's in from the lead in GT3. DB Kung's in, Angie's in. They were just about to go a lap down. They're all in together. Pit crews go to work. Who stays out? Who stays out? Daz will stay out as well. Interesting. They fancy another lap on these slick tyres. Oh, this is an interesting tactic from these two. I don't know if this is the right idea. It's hard to tell. Visually, they don't look particularly quick. Daz looks more comfortable in the McLaren than Atty does in the M6, which is to be expected, really, from the way these cars handle in the rain. McLaren goes through up to the lead for now. As you see, all the rest of the field are in the pits now, so these are the last 2 runners. All the other GT4s are in. Angie's out the pits in the lead actually. So Angie has managed to get the lead in the pit lane from DB Kung in GT4. Solid work from her pit crew, and they're out fair whack ahead. Those two have got a little bit of an advantage now over what is 3rd spot G32, now Redwood. And then Mark and Satis still to go. Satis has lost out quite a lot in the pit lane there. We'll keep an eye on how Atty and Daz are getting on. So Daz is so Atty's really struggling here. Atty's losing time. Atty is falling back. I think Daz is faring a little bit better, but I mean, yeah, these guys might find themselves a little bit further back. That was potentially a mistake. It was a gamble. It was a gamble maybe worth having a go at, but don't think it's paid off. We won't know for sure. In fact, if you look at the track map, whoa, I don't know. Going to be interesting. So Atty makes it in as well. Dasser into his box. Here comes Blank File. I'll let you know if those two start rolling, but for now they're stationary in their pit boxes. Blank File, who was leading the race anyway, you'd expect to come round and take the lead comfortably, and I think he will do that. Yeah. So you can still see tyres going on the boys there on the left hand side. Daz is just getting dropped off his jacks. Whitford's coming through in P2, which means that Johnny B's not had a great time. In fact, these guys are coming out. I'll tell you what, I think that's a net gain for them too. Daz is out in 3rd place. Daz has definitely gained. He's got ahead of Johnny B. Also a bit of strategy play from there. Them two. Atu's maybe... Yeah, I guess Atu was a little bit slower than... But Daz has played an absolute blind there in that McLaren. What a great in-lap from Daz. Awesome driving. And it's pushed him up onto the podium for now in GT3. And that McLaren, it looked pretty stable on the slick tyres then, as it started to rain. If he's got that sort of stability in the wet, he might be looking really good, Dazarich, for a great result. Blankfile continues to lead the way from Whitford in second spot. Here he comes down the hill now, 4.4 seconds back. Dazza up to third. He gets ahead of Johnny. I think Johnny lost out to Whitford as well, so he's down 2 places to 4. Atu, who I think has gained a bit of time, certainly on Johnny has. Maybe not on the leader, but finds himself down in 5th thanks to Daz's heroics. Matty's not too far away as well in 6th spot at the moment. And then we got Racing in 7th. Struggling a bit today, a bit more than usual. And Honey Badger, who's run into troubles earlier on. Still looking fantastic in that Bentley though. Not a lot of damage on that car, still looks glorious in the rain. Down in 8th spot at the moment, last of the runners in GT3. And then Angie, who took the lead in the pit stops in GT4, leads the way now from DB Kung, who had wrestled the lead off of it in the overcast conditions, but now as we head into storm, Angie's got the edge in the pit stop and has a few seconds ahead at advantage. G32's up to 3rd spot, ahead of Redwood now, championship leader in 4th place, and then Satis down to 5th. I wonder if Satis might have... In fact, no, he's not. How far away is he? No, he's not that far. He's a little bit, yeah, a little bit further back. But Satis was the biggest loser then, really, in time terms, with what went on in those pit stops. That's Dazza. Loses up to Johnny B. So Johnny B's got himself up to 3rd place. Dazza drops down to P4. Well, it's only been raining for about 3 or 4 minutes, but it's already kind of jiggled the order quite a bit. As it is absolutely hammering down at the moment. It's been stormy, changeable conditions all across the UK last couple of days. No exception tonight. Blakefile's lead at the front up to 5 seconds now from Whitford, who's still continuing to have a great run in that Ferrari. Blakefile looking to wrestle the championship lead back from Johnny B. After his monitor-based issue that caused him to grind to a halt for 1.5 minutes at Spa last week, Blakefile, which resulted in a 9th place finish. And a lot of confusion for me in the commentary box when it happened. And setting back from his championship lead down into 2nd place after Johnny B took full advantage and won last week. To make it 2 from 2. Match Blankfile's 2 wins so far. Johnny B and Blankfile sharing 2 wins each so far this season in GT3. Blankfile's looking very fast in the rain. The other man looking fast in the rain is Atu actually, who starts to close up on Johnny B and Melty Dazza in 3rd spot. Johnny B's actually lost out to Dazza again, so 3rd spot's changed hands again. Should jump on for a bit more bumper cam from Johnny. Bumper's a bit offensive in the rain, isn't it? What it will do for now. So Dazza looks like he's got good pace in the wet. There's a complete lap 16 onto lap 17. Dazza gets a little 4-wheel slide on entry. Gives Johnny B a chance to have a look up the inside. Dazza nice and late on the brakes. Oh, Johnny B gets a handle of the curve. That smacks the Audi straight into the wall. That's going to be quite big damage for Johnny B. Drops him straight down to 5th spot. That car is crabbing a little. Is it? Yeah, that looks fairly like that's going to have to come in next time round. That's going to put Matty up to 5th, Racing up to 6th. You might potentially get out. Actually, you might get out in front of Racing, actually. It might only cost him 1 position, but what it is going to cost him is any chance of winning. And that is the championship leader with big trouble. And that is going to be music to Blank's ears. Championship leader Johnny B drops a wheel on the curb, smacks the Audi R8 into the Armco, heading down towards Graham Hill Bend. On the exit of Druids. Actually Johnny B's got a shot. I mean, Johnny B, the forecast is that the weather's going to stop. So Johnny, there might, if the damage isn't that bad, which I fear it might be, Johnny, there is a chance that Johnny B could drag the car along to the pit stop and potentially get some repairs at the same time as he gets dry tyres again when the rain stops. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be his tactic. Because he did T-bone that wall pit. He hit it fairly square on with the nose and he wasn't going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, so it might not have been as bad as it looked at first for Johnny B there. You can definitely see a little bit of bonnet damage there on that Audi, but he does seem like he's at least got control of the car. Drive on. Right, as we start to sort of settle into middle of the race, middle of the storm survival time. Just give you a quick rundown of the runners at the moment. As Honey Badger gets out of the way really nicely there. For Blank File, the race leader. Nice one, Honey Badger. Not having the greatest baby Honey Badger, but he did have a good start and a good qualifying. Hopefully he'll have a better run next week. An early mistake has cost him a little bit there. But still looks fantastic in the Bentley, has to be said. And we've got Whitford in 2nd spot. Still on the Ferrari. Great run from Whitford so far. Great run from Dazza as well, 3rd. Now currently showing a clean pair of heels to Atto in 4th spot. Johnny B with a damage on that Audi R8 in 5th. Matty in the SLS in 6th. Racing also in Team Mercedes. Team Mercedes just struggling here a bit at Brands Hatch, I think, overall, even in the dry and the wet. Maybe not the best suited to the track. And then we've got Honey Badger running around in P8. The Bentley still putting it in. And then Angie leading the way still in GT4. How big's that gap now? Oh, the gap's pretty big actually. So that's the rain's really played into Angie's hands here. So DB Kung is fallen back significantly. He's about 15 seconds back now. And he's 7 seconds ahead of G32, who's in 3rd spot as Blank File, the race leader, picks his way past G32. And then Redwood, championship leader in GT4, finds himself down in 4th place, just ahead of Satis in 5th, so he might find himself under pressure for 4th soon. And then Mark, again, still gallantly pushing on in that Porsche. On board with that, 4th spot in GT3. Himself and Dazza approaching the G32 and Redwood GT4 battle. 3rd place in class. Oh, as Redwood puts a wheel on the grass and spins. There he goes. Unlucky for Redwood there, little pirouette. He'll recover without damage though. Whoa, as he comes back on track a little bit clumsily in front of Johnny B, who then has a slightly sketchy nibble of the grass on the outside. And Redwood recovers in 5th spot. So championship leader Redwood down to 5th. So not a good day for championship leaders at the moment. They're both they're both leading the championship but 5th in class at the moment. For Johnny B and for Redwood. So looks like a bit of a juggle in the championship as we approach the halfway stage of round number 5. Back for a battle for P3, GT3. File's lead up to 13 seconds at the front of GT3 really is putting the hammer down in the rain. Although fastest man last time round was Atu, just about. Atu and Whitford on a 1:31.5. 1:32.1 for race leader Blank and a 1:33.1 for Dazza in third spot. He now finds himself under pressure for that position as they approach a gaggle of cars up ahead. Certainly Honey Badger in the Bentley. That's G32. Oh dear. What happened there? That was really weird. Was that even... Oh, Honey Badger spins onto the gravel as well. The guy's starting to struggle in the weather conditions. What happened there? Atu just jinxed right, but he doesn't do that in the break. That was like... That was bizarre, and then his car didn't even react. And poor old G32, and I got absolutely tonked into the barrier. I'd be surprised if that car's driving. What? That was very strange. I'm glad we called out the stream because we can go back and try and figure that out after the race, because that was weird. Unless Atu just dropped it on the brakes and the car dove right. But I mean, Atu gets himself up into third actually. But then the way his car reacted, it didn't really seem like Atu had the same thing. Oh, I don't know, folks. We'll try and make sense of that one later. I think G32 is a big loser in that. Oh, and I tell you who else has lost out? DB Kung. We've missed it, but he's down into last place. He's right behind Mark as well. It looks like he's been in the pits. So even though G32 has been thrown in the wall, he's still actually in second spot. As Johnny B just struggles, just catching him in a really unopportune place. I think, yeah, G32 is substantially damaged now from that. A very strange incident with that, in the lap traffic. Unless I just thought he was past him, I just turned what, but I don't know, it didn't really seem to, the whole thing didn't seem to make any sense, but I'll stop speculating because I'll need to see it again to make any sense of that. In the meantime, Atu's lapped a second quicker than Whitford last time round. And starts to put him under pressure for second spot. As Dazza unfortunately starts to drop back a little bit in that McLaren. Still a decent run for Dazza though, up in fourth place. Still ahead of Johnny, championship leader. But the man on the move at the moment in GT3 is Mr. Atu. Flying in that M6, which isn't normally the best in the rain, but he seems to have found a bit of a rhythm. Aside from appearing to slightly murder G32 by accident or by a lag, he's having a sterling run in the weather. As that M6 goes bang as it does on replay mode. Whoa, little wiggle from Whitford on exit there. I think Atu's going to get by. Looks like Whitford wasn't really up for fighting in these conditions, which I completely understand. It won't be long until the clouds are going to be clearing according to the forecast, so not much point picking up damage, scrapping over a spot when you know the guy's lapping a little bit quicker than you in these conditions. As Atu gets a massive slide on through turn number 1, gathers it all up, gives Whitford a chance to come straight back at him now. I'm not sure if Whitford's going to be too adventurous. Just happy to sit back at the moment. I think he knows he's on for good points. Not looking to take too many risks. Blankfell currently enjoying a 15-second lead, or the best part of a 15-second lead out ahead. Really has opened up the gap in these wet conditions in that BMW Z4. They call him the Rainmaster for a reason. Our man Blankfell. He really does have the feel for these conditions. Oh, yeah. I thought Whitford was a bit closer then, but he's actually a little bit further away. So have a lap with Blankfell, race leader. Okay, so I think, from what I can see here, it looks to me like the rain might be easing up a little bit already, just based on the windscreen. Lap time seems to be getting quicker. We'll be back into the 1:30.5 for Blank Farm. Super smooth. Still pretty wet out there, even if it is improving slightly. Well, Janetta has a moment ahead of the race leader. That'll wake him up a bit. What's that? Which one that was? Anyway, GT4 Angie still leads the way. Now enjoying quite a substantial lead. Almost about 30-second lead over G32, who's ended up in second place, even though he got whacked in the wall. Oh, that's Matty's off there. Matty off from P6 in the GT3. Mercedes-Benz. He's gone off at Paddock Hill there, on the exit of Paddock Hill. Didn't see much damage on that Mercedes. He lives to fight another day in 6th spot. But now has racing at home and his teammate Mercedes for company. Actually, it's not even the same type of Mercedes, is it? SLS versus AMG. Grudge match. Fighting over P6 in class. P6 on the road. Catching up on Redwood's Janetta. A fairly awkward moment. Nice driving from those three. Very nice stuff. Yeah, they're pretty lovely there. Racing fancies a look at P6. Definitely seems like it's brightening up a little bit to me. A little bit more sun on the track. Still plenty of spray though. Grayson dives inside, dives to the outside. Goes last of the late breakers all the way around the outside. Racing aim, I like that. It's a good effort. Doesn't quite work. Matty holds him off. Grayson dives again. Oh, nice drop. Puts the front wheels up on the curb. Lifts the back wheels off the ground. Spins it round. Oh, comes back on track right in front of the race leader, Blank File. That was not the... I mean, he was sort of on the track already and just spinning himself around, but that's given Blank a little tiny bit of front end damage, I bet. I mean... Yeah, I've been told a bit where Blank hit him. I didn't think Matty was doing anything wrong, so, I mean, I guess he was recovering. I don't know what else he meant to do other than try and spin around and face the right way. He just caught Blank File out a little bit then. Hopefully both guys not too badly damaged from that tiny little bonk. But what that has done is cost Blank File about 10 seconds. So about 5 seconds, sorry. So the lead's now down to 11 seconds. And there's the other banana BMW pursues after him. Currently 10 seconds back. Whitford's fallen back a little bit further as well. Whitford's now 19 seconds back in the Ferrari, but still on for a podium. And he's just ahead of Dazza in the McLaren. But he had a slow lap last time, went for 1:36.0. Definitely cost him some time. Constant traffic for these guys, obviously, so it could potentially be a small mistake, or it could just be catching a Janetta GT4 in the wrong place. Speaking of which, use that off the road. Is that DB Kung? That was DB Kung. He was battling for the lead earlier on, but when the heavens opened, it hasn't worked out for DB Kung quite as well. Finds himself down in a 6th position in GT4. It's a bit unfortunate after such a good start for the race. Looks like he had and he has another little incident coming out of Clark Kerb. As we see Melted Dazzer in the pits. Now, could this be for slick tyres? He stayed on slicks the latest. Is he on? That looks like slick tyres to me. I mean, I don't even know if the animation would do anything. I normally animation. Yeah, I can't say that word. Would do anything for me anyway. If he was, I wasn't getting tyres. But I can only assume this is Dazzer in the pits, unless he's got some damage that I don't know about. Hard to judge there. Yeah, so it stopped. Okay, so I think this is Dazzer being the first man onto slick tyres. He took a gamble before. It worked out. He got him up to third spot. Got on to second spot actually for a bit, I think. And he's the first man onto slicks. And he goes out onto what is now a drying track. We'll keep an eye on his lap times. I wonder, Blankfile's gone around to start another lap. He's still on wet tyres. He stays on wet tyres. Whitford stays out on wet still. So the general consensus is to stay on wets for now. I like this from Dazzer though. He doesn't seem particularly slow, if he has got slicks. Blankfile's lead down to 9.2 seconds. Possibly just from picking his way through the traffic. Keep an eye on Dazzer here. Let's see. He's happy with what he's got out of the pits there. On that, yeah, look at that. I mean, that track's looking drier and drier by the minute as he gets a little slide on. Nicely held. Oh, I think Dazzer's off and running on his slicks. I think that, and that was Honey Badger coming in. Looks like Honey Badger's on for slicks. Wiggles his way in the Bentley. Out of P8. And racing at home in from the P6 in the Mercedes-Benz. He'll be jumping onto slick tyres. I wonder if the GT4 people are going to start coming in soon. Where's Angie? She's in the middle of a lap. G32 stays out for now, second spot. Oh, DB comes retired from the race as well. Unlucky DB Kai. Be classified in 6th spot in GT4. Might see the tyres going on the Mercedes there. Whitford's into the pits. So racing at home leaves, Honey Badger leaves, P7 and P8. Whitford in from P3. It's Team Ferrari go to work on P3 McLaren and 3. Oh, so it does actually show me the tyres going there. That's quite interesting. I hope Dazzer got his tyres. Coming off the jacks anytime now. Looks like Dazzer might have gained on him actually here. That early slick tyre. I'm loving this from Dazzer. I think he's gonna. I think he is. He's done it again. Whitford rolls, but it's not going to be enough. Dazzer takes the position. So Dazzer's played a blinder again. He was the last man in off of slicks, gain time, and he was the first man in 4-6, gain time again. Awesome stuff. As the leader pits. I think Blankfile's a little bit lucky there that Atu or Johnny B weren't brave enough. I guess they wouldn't have known Dazzer was in the pits necessarily, but Dazzer came in, it was the right thing to do. It looks like it's gained him some time. He's not going to be close enough to trouble the leaders, but Atu actually stays out. Interesting again. So Atu stayed out last time. Lots of different tactics coming into play here. I wonder if Atu might just stay out all the way. Ooh, spicy if he does. If he does. It's only 15 minutes till the end of the race. Oh, Blankfile's already rolling though. I wonder if he just did the extra lap just to see how much advantage he had. It's not a lot. I mean, it's something for 15 minutes. But those wet tyres are going to die. Surely they're going to die. Blankfile rejoins, still P2 on the road. Johnny B comes round. Might see him dive for the pit lane here. Nope, maybe he's already been in. Yeah, I lost track a little bit. I think Johnny must have already been in. I think everyone's been in. quite been aware of any GT4 pitters yet, unless I've just missed it all in the GT3, which is something I often like to do. Yeah, they must have all been in. Oh, what's Attu doing here? Is he going to try and drive this thing to the end on wet tyres? Hold on to a 22-second lead? Or is he going to come for the pits this time? He stays out again. I like this. I like this. He's making a play for it, Attu, I think here. I think he's just going to see if he can't drive that thing into the floor. On a pair of knackered wet tyres with only 14.5 minutes remaining. I like that. Oh, and he just runs wide. They're already probably starting to get a bit hot. Hey, I mean, it's a gamble. How far ahead is he there? He's coming around there, and Blankfile comes into the last corner. Oh, his G32 does come into the pits actually, so maybe the GT4 guys, so some of them are pitting now. Matty's back in the pits. I don't know, maybe that's his first time. So Daz has got his tyre strategy spot on both times round. Lifted him up to 4th. Whitford has lost out big time actually, because he was up in 2nd for a lot of that race. Even during the wet running he was holding on to P2, and now he suddenly finds himself down in 5th spot. And Attu with the crazy lunge for the line on the wet tyres. I mean, he was still the fastest man on track. Oh, actually no, he wasn't. Melted Dazza was quicker. Dazza's very fast in that McLaren when the weathers are changing. He's committed now. He's going for the end. He leads the race at the moment. And he's in, I think it's okay, so this is the GT4 guys pitting off of their wet tyres. They're finally coming in. Could probably run it out a little bit longer, a little bit less weight in those cars. Angie brings it into the box nicely, still leading the way in GT4. She's got quite a big advantage over Satis now, in 2nd spot. Although I tell you what, it might be a little bit closer to this. I think Satis might have come in for tyres a little bit earlier, unless he's yet to pit. No, he's good, yeah. So hold on a minute, you might see a leading GT4 here. Angie needs to get rolling. She is rolling. Not in time though. Satis Downs going to take the lead. Dramas in GT4. Satis Downs leads. Passes Angie for the lead with 12 minutes to go. Maybe stayed out on the wet tyres just a fraction too long there. Angie did. Lost a little bit of time to Satis. Bombing on his slicks. He suddenly looks good for a win in class in GT4. Great stuff from Satis. Still a long way to go though, and then Redwood has recovered himself quite nicely, the championship leader, up into 3rd spot in GT4. There's Johnny B pits again in GT3. But he's taking tyres again. So maybe, I think Johnny B's either had... I don't know if we've got anyone to worry about, you can tell. Strange that. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Now we're starting to see a big difference between these lap times for him. Oh, I think it's going to be a step too far for Attu here. I really commend the effort. I'm loving the effort. This is going to be great to watch. But at the moment, he's just gonna, yeah, he's just doomed here, I think. We're still finding little pockets of wet water there. Wet water? Brilliant. That's one of my favourite things I've ever said on commentary so far. That's amazing. I'll cut that up for my highlight reel. Still finding pockets of water on the track. Attu is. But not many of them, and I think that might have been the last one that we just witnessed there. That M6 is moving around a lot. Oh, yep, still a little bit offline there. Fair play Project Cars 2 doing, as always, a fairly impressive job of simulating these track conditions as they dry up. What's going on here? Satis pits from the lead in GT4. with a damaged front end. So he's taken the lead last lap from Angie as she's come out of the pits, and he's celebrated by stuffing it in the wall by the looks of it. Because I was under the impression he'd already made his scheduled pit stop, and that doesn't look very scheduled, and that front end looks a bit stoved into me, unless I'm mistaken. But I must admit, there's been too many pit stops in this race, I've got myself a bit confused. Like, in fact, that gap is now 11.6 seconds, and Blank File is 11.6 seconds behind, and he's lapping 3 seconds faster. So he's going to catch him in about 3.5 laps at this rate. And there's probably about 5 or 6 laps to go. So Blank File still looking good for the win here. Looking good to retain his, or reclaim his championship lead, I should say, because Johnny B, current championship leader, after Blank File's troubles last week, has run into his own troubles this week. Finds himself down in 6th spot now, racing at home, has recovered up to 5th. And there's a fair while back ahead of him now as well. Because Johnny B's been in and out of the pit stops, I think, twice. Matty's still in 7th, Honey Badger's still in 8th, and then Angie has retaken the lead in GT4 from Satis up to his dramas, who's still in the pits, by the way. Heavy damage on Satis' car by the looks of it. He just gets going now. That is really unlucky for Satis. He's got himself out of the Mustang, got himself up into the lead of the race in the Genair, and that's an interesting one. I haven't seen that too many times before. Oh, just does a little bit of work on the rear end of the Janetta as well, just to make sure it matches the front. Successfully finds the pit exit on the second time of asking. Still gets to circulate around in 5th spot, still on points, decent points in the GT4. Gap down to less than 10 seconds at the front of GT3. Blank File's coming. You're only 2.2 seconds quicker that lap. I wonder how he's kind of finding a little bit of a rhythm with his melting wet tyres. Still a little bit of spray coming off of the inside line there. There's only 8 minutes to go. I still think that is doomed, but it's been a great effort to watch. Fastest man on track last time round was FRY-DIZ. He's now looking really good for a podium in that McLaren. Difficult start to the season for DIZ. Coming good today though. Whitford, he really lost out in the rain, or in the sort of end of the rain period, as everyone jumps onto their slick tyres. Down into 4th spot, but he looks like he's got a lap on Johnny now after Johnny's extra pit stop. .2 seconds. About 3.2 seconds after that last lap, so within a couple of laps. Going to see the lead change in GT3 once more. Here at the Kerb Clippers British GT Championship, round number 5. My name's Fry, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Been another awesome race, I think. Good watch as always. Blank File looking set for another win at the moment for Team BMW, as he cuts the gap to 3 seconds. Oh, and makes a mistake. Doesn't take any risk gathering that one up though. That might just delay his march to the lead though. As what? As we come round to complete lap 36, head on to lap 37. The gap for the lead now 2.5 seconds. Atu's still on the wet tyres after not coming in when the rain stopped. Made a play for the race win. Always Blank File 4-wheel drift wide. This is the apex there. But still closes the gap on Atu, struggling on the wets. Picks his way past Redwood's Janetta. But the slick tyres of Blank File are about to come good. As the clock just ticks past 5 minutes, who's a great plan for the win isn't going to quite work out for him. As he dives offline to pick up some water on those screaming wet tyres. There's not enough left though, unfortunately. And that big fat heavy yellow M6 just continues to torture those wets. As we're about to see a pass for the lead. Blankenfire won't be in any rush here. He's got a 35-second lead back to Dazza at the moment. So he's still potentially going to hang on for second spot with only a few laps remaining here. Dazza's still looking great for the podium. He himself has got a 25-second lead. So these changeable conditions. We've gone from overcast to storm to light cloud as Blankfile makes his way out the inside to take the lead as they cross the start finish line. Blankfile, the man from Belgium, takes the lead. And with only 4 minutes to go, 3 laps remaining, the Kerb Clippers British GT Championship. Round number 5 looks like it's going to be going Blankfile's way. And unless my maths is very much mistaken, he'll be reclaiming the top spot in the championship as well. Good evening for Blankfile. As that he continues to struggle on in these wets. Looks like he has enough of a gap to hang on to second spot though, at the pace he's running at the moment. Dazza, like I say, looking good for third. Whitford slightly unlucky to find himself in fourth, and now with damage on the front end of that Ferrari. Something's happened to Whitford that we've missed, but he should still hang on for fourth spot. Quite isolated now, about 30 seconds either side of him before racing at home in fifth. And then Johnny B, who's had some struggles, was leading at the start of the race. But we saw him drop it coming down towards Graham Hill Bend on the curb, on exit, and unfortunately stuffed the Audi in the wall, which has cost the championship leader big time, and costing the lead of the championship as well. And then Matty still soldiering on in 7th. We've seen him have some dramas, as well as Honey Badger as well. He still looks fantastic in the Bentley, but it finds himself down in 8th. And then we have the leader in GT4, Angie, once again, looking to make it 2 from 2, and she's enjoying about a 30-second advantage as well. 35-second advantage it is now. So 2 from 2 for Angie. Another great win. Well done to her. Redwood in second. Redwood's just really, he was the championship leader. Redwood found himself down in 6th at the start of the race. He's just kept plugging away. Others have had dramas around him and has lifted him up to second, and this is why he's leading the championship. Redwood, just consistency paying off. G32 on for another podium. Round number 1 winner, G32. He's had some troubles since then, but hopefully be happy with P3. And then Mark in 4th in the Porsche. That might be his best result in the Porsche. And then Sykes, who was challenging for the lead until a drama that we unfortunately missed put him out of contention, and now finds himself at the rear of the field, still running around 5th in class, last of the runners. After we lost Kevs early on from GT3, and then subsequently DB Kung from GT4. And Buzz not starting today in GT3 as well. As we head on to what will be the last lap, I believe. White flag in the air for Blankfile. Race leader, class leader. He just gets himself just a little bit boxed in behind these 2 GT4 cars. It won't bother him. That's Angie leading GT4, so we've got the 2 winners here together. And he just gives him plenty of room. That's nice, they're in the right order for finishing now. Handy. Blankfile picks his way past Mark as well. Whoa! Oh, what the... I was looking at my phone, people! I did it again! Something's happened to Blankfile's got tangled up with a back marker's accident there, from what I could make out, even though I thought he was ahead of him. What even happened then? That was really bizarre. Why was I looking at my phone again? What's wrong with me? Blankfile's now leading by 1.5 seconds on the final lap of the race with a smashed in front end. So Blankfile is going to limp home, I think, because Atu's on his wet tyres. Atu's not particularly quick behind. Atu's struggling anyway. Blackfell's going to get away with that, whatever that was, which I look forward to watching back, because I know I caught it on stream even though I didn't fucking see it. Blackfell's going to win the race after last lap dramas. That would have put his heart rate up a little bit. But he's still going to come around and win his third race of the season. Round number 5, Brands Hatch British GT Championship. Kerb Clippers goes to Blackfell. Great win from him. Atu nearly next to win in P2. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but late dramas. Daz is going to come home in P3. But in the meantime, Angie's won GT4. She's coming right behind them after that lot. I thought she was going to be a little bit further behind, but there's Angie. Well done. Well done to Angie. Another win. Makes it 2 from 2 for her. She might still feature in the championship at this rate if she wins the next 2 races as well. I think 80 points might be a championship winning score. Although actually, no, Redwood's just. I think Redwood might even be ahead of 80 now as Redwood comes through in second spot. Good second spot from Redwood. He recovered well then. Daz comes home in third. In GT3, well done to Daz. On the podium. That's your podiums in GT3. 1, 2, 3 as the two as they head on collision there. And then we got G32 coming across to complete the podium in GT4. Well done, G32. Third spot for him. Flash of the lights. Nice drive, mate. Home in 4th. Satis home in 5th after late dramas. Could have had the win, Satis then. Not quite sure what happened. And then last of the runners coming home now. Whitford. Whitford, who's 4th, is leading the way. Closely followed there by Honey Badger and Johnny B. Who look like they're having a nice little battle, even though they're all different on different laps. Well, there we go. Round number 5. Looks like a couple of other guys only came in the pits once as well. Racing stuck the wet tyres until the end. I missed that was his tactic. Looks like it paid off alright for him in 5th place. Anyway, so Blankfell takes the win. And his 3rd win of the season. In 1st place. Atu gets 2nd spot. In the 1-2 for yellow BMWs. Dazzler gets a good podium in 3rd. Whitford comes home in 4th after running up near the front all race. Racing recovers well into 5th. On a slightly different strategy. Nice drive from him actually there towards the end after not going too well at the start. Johnny B struggles down into 6th. That will have cost him the championship lead. Matty in 7th and Honey Badger, who drove well, both of them, even though they had their struggles, in 7th and 8th. And then we got a winner in GT4. Well done to Angie once again. Redwood, championship leader, holds on to P2 though. G32 rounds out the podium in 3rd place. And then we've got Mark and Satis. And finally DB Kung, who unfortunately retired but will still be classified in 6th spot. And then Kebs will be classified in 9th in GT3 as well. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll be back again next week. Round number 6, which is from Silverstone Classic. Which is a slight liberty on my part, but I thought the track's so good, we'll give it a try. Hopefully we'll see you all then. Thanks for watching once again. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Cheers.